But I've read a lot about the battery replacement in these smaller Terex or ASV 30 horsepower machines. I've got the battery about halfway out right now. I figured I'd do a little video on how I got there. There it is, almost out. It fits down underneath this frame rail here. But first thing is you can remove this plate here. I could probably wiggle it out beside it, but it's just 2 bolts, 7/16. There's a nut on the back and some washers. So take that plate off. What holds this battery down in place is, let me get a flashlight, 2 long, these bolts right here are all threads. They've got 7/16 bolts and washers on them, or nuts and washers. And from underneath, there's a hole there and a hole right there. So those 2 hold down this bar on top of the battery. And to get to the second, or the back bolt, you need to remove that counterweight. So there's 2 3/4 inch bolts that hold that counterweight on. Should look similar on the other side here. You can see it there. There's 1 bolt. The other one's up in that recess there. So once you take the counterweight off, you can hold the bottom of that long rod and get the top nut off and get the brace bar off. So then your battery is technically free. Obviously you got to undo your terminals. I think those were 1/2 inch on the terminal joints there. So you got to loosen those, pop those off. Then the next thing I did was I loosened up the fuse box by removing 2 1/2 inch bolts located there. I think there's 1 there. Yeah, those 2 right there. So once those bolts came out, that allows that fuse box to move a little bit. And I just kind of pushed it up towards the fuel filter there. So once all that was done, I was able to get the battery turned on its side and up on its end like this. And it was pretty tight between the throttle linkage there and this wall here. But yeah, I got it twisted and turned, and it's going to pull right out now. So once I do that, I'm just noting I got my positive here on the top coming out first. So I'm going to put my new battery in, same negative down, positive up, slide it down in there. And then once it's in and you've got a positive here and a negative here, it turned 90. So the negative was actually over here underneath this frame rail, and the positive was exposed out there. So I'll go ahead. Alright, so battery's out. Just worked on cleaning this up a little bit, got that all shop vac out. There was quite a bit of mud and dirt packed up in there, but got it all clean. So we'll get ready to put the new battery in. I got to clean up that terminal in there. I'll probably wire brush this one a little bit too. And the battery that I pulled out and that I got is a number 58. Now there's a 58 and a 58R, and R has the positive on the right, but this one has the negative on the left and the positive, or I'm sorry, negative on the right and positive on the left. So again, that's a number 58. This one's got 580 and 715, so a little bit higher cranking amps on this one. I don't see the reserve anywhere, but these are good batteries. I get these from Sam's Club. I think this one was $99, and it's a Duracell, but I read somewhere that it was made by East Penn, which makes DEKA. Oh, there it is, manufactured by East Penn. In East Penn, look, 102 DEKA Road. So this is like a $150, $160 DEKA battery, or a $99 Duracell at Sam's. So I like these guys. I've been using them on my dump trailer and my fishing boat and some other equipment, tractors and whatnot. So, all right, just slip the new battery in there. That wasn't difficult at all. I just held it vertical so the positive post was up and both posts were facing back. Then I had it in there just like this, and I lowered it in and turned it flat, shoved it back in that corner. Just had to watch out for that radiator shroud there, but there was plenty of room between that and that to just drop it in and sideways. Now I'll just rotate it 90 this way. That's about where it was set before. So I'll go ahead and hook up my connections and get the bar across, and that'll be, you know, reassemble back together. I'm taking a video here and I'm getting this done in 35-40 minutes. One thing I was going to show off was this CRC grease here. I used to buy it in the packets all the time every time I went to the parts store, and they had one of these up there on the counter for sale, and it's awesome. You just push this trigger and it has aerosol or something in it. It sprays out a nice bead of that stuff real clean. There's a cap there to put on it, and you don't have to buy it all the time. Alright, this is all back together. I don't have that bar across here back installed yet, or the counterweight there. I'm going to take this bar and wire brush it with a wire wheel and give it some new paint. I find that if you don't, all the corrosion that's on here from the old battery seems to start corroding the new battery. So you can go ahead and get it cleaned up, give it a shot of paint, make that look good, get that bolted back down, and she'll be ready to ride. We'll go ahead and test it out here. Make sure you turn the main power back on. And perfect. And that's it. If you got any questions, let me know. It's not that bad of a job.